Russia has reportedly intensified its military actions in Ukraine, executing one of its largest Kinzhal missile operations since the conflict began. A coordinated night strike targeted multiple Ukrainian military installations, including airfields and critical infrastructure, in regions near Zhytomyr, Kyiv, Kharkiv, and Dnipro. These missiles and drone attacks triggered extensive air raid alerts across the country. Ukrainian authorities confirmed that a Russian strikes on energy infrastructure on November 8th resulted in 4 fatalities and caused power outage in several regions. Moscow has consistently escalated its assaults on Ukraine's energy grid in recent months, damaging crucial natural gas facilities that are vital for heating. Experts have expressed concerns that Ukraine faces the risk of heating outage as winter approaches. Foreign Minister Andrea Sybiga condemned the strikes, stating they targeted everyday life by depriving communities of power, water, and heating, while also destroying critical infrastructures and damaging railway networks. The Ukrainian Air Force reported that Russia launched 458 drones and 45 missiles overnight, with Ukrainian defenses managing to intercept 406 drones and 9 missiles. President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed that a Russian drone directly hit a residential building in Dnipro, resulting in 3 deaths, and an additional fatality was reported in Kharkiv. Ukrainian emergency services documented widespread damages as air defenses struggled to counteract the high-speed barrage. Analysts suggest that the scale and coordination of these strikes could signify a significant escalations in Russian military tactics as the conflict enters a more intense phase. The Russian Defense Ministry has released new figures claiming substantial Ukrainian losses, including 668 aircraft and over 25,000 armored vehicles since the start of its special military operation. This announcement coincides with intense fighting in the eastern city of Pokrovsk, a situation President Volodymyr Zelensky described as extremely difficult, citing more than 220 Russian assaults within a 3-day period. Kyiv has refuted Moscow's claim of tactical advancement, asserting that its force continue to maintain defensive position. Independent verifications of battlefield developments remain impossible due to the ongoing intensification of fighting ahead of the winter months. Following the fierce engagement in Pokrovsk, Russian forces are now reportedly advancing on Kupyansk, a strategically important Ukrainian stronghold in the Kharkiv region. Commanders on the ground have claimed control of major streets and anticipated liberating the city within days. Ukraine denies any loss of ground, maintaining that counterattacks are underway. Analysts suggest this offensive reflects Moscow's push to achieve discernible gains before winter sets in, rather than a decisive breakthrough. As Russian troops advance, global skepticism regarding Kyiv's prospect for victory is increasing, with US President Donald Trump and Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán openly expressing doubts and characterizing the situation as a misunderstanding, implying that only a miracle could alter the outcome. On November 8th, Russia conducted one of its most intense coordinated aerial assaults on Ukraine, deploying Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, Caliber cruise rockets, and Iskander systems in conjunction with hundreds of Shahid drones. These overnight strikes severely cripple Ukraine's energy grid, leading to widespread power blackouts in Kyiv, Kharkiv, Dnipro, and Poltava. Ukrainian authorities confirmed the interceptions of over 415 aerial threats. However, dozens of missiles and drones successfully impacted critical infrastructure and residential areas. As the nation grapples with extensive power outage and casualties, Kyiv is advocating for stricter sanctions on Russian energy exports. Moscow, conversely, insists its operations are solely targeting military assets, a claim widely disputed by Ukraine and its Western allies. Russian forces claim to have completely overcome Ukrainian defenses in Kupyansk, with Moscow asserting that Ukraine's final resistance collapsed after intense fighting. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that 10 Ukrainian soldiers were eliminated in their last stands and ridiculed President Zelensky for losing touch with reality regarding his statements on the situation. Ukrainian prisoners of war reportedly described chaos and coercion among frontline troops, while Russian commanders have labeled Kupyansk the symbol of Ukraine's collapse. Kyiv's eastern lines are under severe pressure as Moscow presses deeper toward Donetsk and Krasnoyarsk. Meanwhile, the anti-Kremlin resistance movement, Freedom of Russia, has carried out a series of significant attacks on Russian military logistics, destroying dozens of locomotives used for transporting weapons, ammunition, and equipment destined for operation against Ukraine. Using Molotov cocktails, partisans reportedly disable control and power systems, significantly disrupting enemy supply lines and delaying frontline reinforcement. Active since the war's onset, these insurgents have evolved into one of the largest and most effective resistance groups within the Russian Federation, underscoring growing internal dissent against Moscow's war efforts. After days of unexplained absence and rumors of dismissal, Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov reappeared and made a significant announcement regarding nuclear matters. Breaking his silence, Lavrov demanded answers from Washington following President Donald Trump's unexpected declaration about resuming U.S. nuclear tests. His remarks were made as Putin's Defense Council commenced preparations for potential tests at Novaya Zemlya, signaling a rekindled Cold War-style confrontation. The global community is now contemplating whether the world is on the brink of a new nuclear showdown between Moscow and Washington. Moscow has sought clarifications from Washington after President Donald Trump announced intention to resume nuclear testing. Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov stated that no explanation had been received through diplomatic channels, raising concerns about the future of global arms control. These statements come amidst escalating tensions, with Russian President Vladimir Putin having previously warned that Moscow would resume tests if other nations initiated them first. The U.S. last conducted nuclear weapons tests in 1992, while Russia's most recent test was in 1990. Putin accused the West of misrepresenting Russia's statement, and the Kremlin warned that renewed testing could usher in a new era of nuclear brinkmanship. Russia has issued a stern warning to the United States after President Donald Trump ordered the immediate resumption of nuclear testing, a move Moscow believed could trigger unpredictable consequences and reignite a global arms race. Speaking at the United Nations, Russian Ambassador Vasily Nebensia stated that the decision has caused global alarm, cautioning that Washington's nuclear ambitions risk destabilizing decades of disarmament efforts. He urged restraint, warning that renewed nuclear activity could unleash a dangerous chain reaction with severe implications for global security. These remarks come amidst rising tensions as the U.S. accuse others of testing and seek to keep up, a justification that Russia argues could lead to a new era of nuclear instability. Former UK Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has cautioned that Prime Minister Keir Starmer's proposed coalition of the willing on Ukraine could push the world toward a perilous nuclear confrontation. Speaking in London, Corbyn argued that such a move would only escalate tensions and draw in more powers with nukes on both sides. He also accused former Prime Minister Boris Johnson of obstructing a potential 2022 peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, claiming Johnson's urged Kyiv to keep fighting rather than agreeing to a ceasefire. Corbyn criticized Britain's record on Ukraine as not good and called for a global diplomatic effort for an immediate ceasefire, warning that the protracted conflict risked catastrophic consequences for Europe and beyond. A devastating Russian drone and missile attack struck Ukraine's Dnipro early Saturday, resulting in the death of 2 women and injuries 12 others. Ukrainian officials reported that the strike was part of a nationwide assault targeting energy infrastructure, with Russia deploying 458 drones and 45 missiles including 32 ballistic weapons. Ukraine's Air Force managed to shoot down 406 drones and 9 missiles, but 25 locations were hit, causing widespread power outage. Fire destroyed apartment in a 9-story building. The attack involved high-precision air-ground and sea-based weapons, including Kinzhal missiles. The strategic city of Pokrovsk remains fiercely contested as Putin continues to demand that Ukraine cede Donbass. If you have made it this far, congratulations. You have unlocked the truth. I want to ask you a quick question though. Given the demonstrated vulnerability of Ukraine's energy grid to massive coordinated missile and drone attacks, and the limited capacity of even advanced air defenses to stop every projectile, what do you believe is the single most critical step NATO nations can take beyond current aid to effectively help Ukraine secure its critical infrastructure before winter sets in, and why? Join the debate. We want to hear your insightful opinion on where this is all heading in our community. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.